James Evans probably first learned of the Nat Turner uprising when he scanned the third page of the Alexandria Gazette newspaper on Saturday morning, August 27, 1831. 5 days earlier, Turner and a core group of enslaved men had rampaged across Southampton County, Virginia, for nearly 2 days, killing more than 50 white people. As news of the insurrection trickled in over the next week, the 51-year-old Evans took action. As a free black man, a brickmaker by trade, Evans owned 6 properties worth $3,100 in the city of Alexandria. That was far more real estate than any other free black resident. Although in his heart, Evans may have secretly approved of the violence in Southampton, he viewed the insurrection there as a potential threat. In a matter of 2 weeks, Evans drafted a petition that pledged to, quote, unite heart in hand, unquote, to defend the authorities of the town and to promptly alert authorities should they hear of any plots against it. In addition to Evans, 45 free black men signed that petition. As a brickmaker, he was able to build a thriving business because he had an urban customer base, presumably mostly white residents. News of the uprising raised the anxieties of white people across the slave South. Evans likely reasoned that a city full of anxious white residents was bad for business and bad for his safety and that of the free black community. Back in Southampton County, in response to Nat Turner's uprising, white authorities killed more than 200 innocent blacks, both enslaved and free, in a surge of frantic carnage. Evans may have anticipated something of this sort happening in Alexandria if the tensions escalated. The petition that Evans crafted conveyed 2 main points to the white residents of town to tamp down tensions. One, that Evans and the other signers would not join a slave revolt if it were to occur in Alexandria, and 2, that they would inform on any slaves plotting an uprising. This must have been an emotional position to take for some of the petitioners, to publicly disavow enslaved members of their community and their families. Indeed, 3 of the signers, Dennis Carpenter, Simon Turley, and Thomas Valentine, had gained their freedom within the past year. Other petitioners, such as Daniel Bruce, Henry Darnell, Nathaniel Lucas, William Roberts, and the newly freed Turley, had purchased the freedom of wives, siblings, and children out of slavery. The petition laid bare in just 2 sentences the Du Boisian sense of double consciousness that each of these 46 men confronted daily. The sense of straddling 2 worlds must have been ever present for many of them. My first step toward dissecting the petition was to geographically map each of the 46 signers. The group included property owners, and you see those encircled in green here, as well as property renters and tenants. The occupations of 18 of the petitioners could be identified. They span from skilled tradesmen such as potters, coopers, and bakers, to service workers. So based on manumission records and entries in the Alexandria Free Negro Register, 8 of the signers were born into freedom, that we know. 16 of them were born into slavery and later manumitted, including 3 men most recently liberated in 1829 or 1830. Whether the other 22 petitioners were born free or were emancipated is not known at this point. Documentary digging provides us with the guidance to excavate properties in Alexandria where free black citizens resided. Documents like the petition can shine light into past lives. The city of Alexandria happens to have one of the largest historical archaeology collections in the country, the result of a half-century of excavation. How many of those artifacts relate to free black residents of the city? Well, With one of the largest free Black populations in the country in the first half of the 19th century, I'd say that the odds are good that a significant percentage of those artifacts resulted from the actions of free Black and enslaved people. Of course, identifying sealed context linked to specific households is terribly difficult in urban settings, no matter the racial background of the occupant. If we are up to the challenge, an excavation of those collections almost certainly would reshape our understanding of free Black Alexandria.